and they think that they are entitled to look at all our private messages. Hi and welcome to Flossom Talk. I am Kjersti Flo, and today I feel like this is probably going to be the most important video that I ever made. I am fuming today, and I'll tell you why. So I woke up this morning, I was having a coffee, I was starting to read messages, and then I saw that I received a text message from Andy Signor over at Popcorn Planet. He was one of the 3 creators and journalists that was subpoenaed by Blake Lively's team last week. It was him, Perez Hilton, and Candace Owens. Andy texted me and he said, "Did you get a subpoena from Google?" I was like, "What? Wait, no, I didn't get a subpoena from Google." And then I looked through my emails, and there it is. Blake Lively wants access to my Google accounts. And it's not only me, it's a lot of other creators they've been going after, and they think that they are entitled to look at all our private messages. I mean, this is so insane to me. Before I talk about this further, I would really appreciate it, you guys, if you show me support by watching this entire video, engaging with it, comment on it, like it, share it. It's all I really need from you guys to continue talking about this and to get this out there, because this is outrageous. This is an attack on all journalists and all content creators, and this needs to be stopped. So here is the email that I received. Hello. Google has received a subpoena for information related to your Google account in a case entitled Blake Lively, ETL versus Wayfarer Studios, LLC. And then it says United States District Court, the Southern Districts of New York, and then the case numbers. And then it says this email serves as a notice to you that Google may produce information related to your Google account in response to this subpoena, unless you email a file-stamped copy of a motion to quash to Google Legal Support at google.com by 10 a.m. Pacific time on July 31st, 2025. So that's a little over 2 weeks from now. And then it says, to make sure we receive a copy of what you filed with the court, please attach it in a reply to this email. Please also include in your reply our Google internal reference number. And then there's a reference number that I thought that's probably better to just like black out here. Google, however, cannot give you legal advice about this matter or advise you on what to do. If you have questions about the subpoena, you can contact an attorney or contact the party of the lawyer who served the subpoena on Google at Ezra Hudson, Manatee, Phelps and Phillips, LLP. And here's his phone number, 310-312-400. Okay. I read this and I was like, this can't be happening. This is not in a free world that a journalist would receive an email like this. And remember, I am not being sued here. I'm a third party. And they think that they have the right to go in and read my emails. Another, of course, fishing expedition trying to find some kind of link between me and Justin Baldoni or the Wayfarer team, which they're not going to find. But also this threatens everyone that has been emailing me, that has been my sources. I mean, I don't have words to say this in English because I'm so upset about it. This isn't like Watergate, and I'm not Snowden. This is basically about a Hollywood star who refuses to admit to herself that people don't like her. And people don't like her because she's doing things like this. As you know, this kind of started off with me publishing my interview with Blake Lively, where I showed the world what kind of person she is. I didn't say that she's always like that. I actually didn't comment on that video. I didn't put it in any kind of context, except that I did title it. I didn't even think about that title for very long. I just felt like, oh, this is the interview that made me want to quit my job. And I titled the video with that title because it fit the feeling that I had when I did that interview. And as you know, that interview went viral and that interview was everywhere. Everyone was commenting on it. The content creators that started off commenting on it are now also accused of being a part of this alleged smear campaign. Try to find the logic here, you guys. It's very hard. I mean, since that happened, I was accused by the New York Times to be part of the smear campaign. I was dragged to the mud, and that still happens. There was an op-ed in New York Times last week. There was a journalist there uh, accusing me of being part of the misogyny slop ecosystem. But I never would imagine that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds would sink this low. This is like at the bottom. It's not only me they're doing this to, they're doing it to several others. I know about 4 or 5 so far that has received this letter from Google or this email from Google. And of course, we're going to have to respond to this. And of course, no one is going to give in here. No one's going to give them access to our Google accounts. I am a journalist and I have reporter privilege, just like the New York Times, who got their case against them dismissed due to the fact that they have reporter privilege. There's a free press in America. And if you start to threaten that by going after journalists and subpoenaing their private email accounts because they write and talk about a celebrity who is in a legal feud with someone else, that's very dangerous. If the judge allows this in this case, he is agreeing that silencing reporters, journalists, content creators is a thing that you can do if you're only rich and famous enough. You're above the law. You're above the press and you can get away with anything. But this is not the first time this has happened to me. As I talked about on my channel, I did sue the Golden Globes, or the Hollywood Foreign Press Association that was behind the Golden Globes, which ended with a big expose in the LA Times, and then the whole industry boycotted them, and then voila, the show was taken off the air. They lost their contract with NBC for $60 million. So yeah, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively are not going to intimidate me into silence. And I really, truly hope that other content creators feel the same way about this. And I feel like you guys feel the same way about this, because you have to keep sending me things and you have to keep supporting this channel if you believe that Justin Baldoni should be vindicated, and if you believe in truth telling, and if you believe in whistleblowers, and if you believe in free press. In a sense, this is kind of empowering to me, because after I was dragged through the mud in that New York Times article where they tried to paint me as a corrupt journalist and try to discredit me and try to hack my Wikipedia page to make me look bad, all that came from that was that I just got a lot more followers and I just got a lot more people who come to my channel, and I've been able to build this amazing community with you guys because of that. So I think if it's anything that this is doing, is painting them in a worse light than ever, and is making all of us even more powerful. Blake Lively can try to intimidate us as much as she wants to, but people will still not like her. At the end of the day, this is what this is all about. Blake Lively wants to be liked. She wants to be popular. She wants people to adore her and look up to her and scream when they see her. Funny enough, if she would have only said she was sorry back then, none of this might have happened. I think if Blake Lively would have some dignity and come out and say that she was sorry about the way she treated me and others, it would never have come to this. And the same goes now for the New York Times and all the other mouthpieces out there, for People magazine that they've been planting stories in, for TMZ that they've been planting stories in, and for New York Times and that latest op-ed. All of these outlets now have helped Blake Lively get to this point of when she's attacking the free press. I'm so curious to see how New York Times is going to report on this, if they're ever going to mention it. Because if they have any integrity, this is the time to show that. But of course, they're not going to, because that means liability, and that means that they have to admit that they were wrong, and that's never going to happen. Anyways, you guys, I'm still trying to process what this really means and what I'm going to do moving forward. I need to talk to a lawyer, of course, and I'm going to talk to all the other creators and journalists and reporters out there that have been victims of this PR stunt that Blake Lively now is doing, and see if we can get together as a group. And of course, if you are a lawyer or if you know a good lawyer that wants to do something good for humanity and for free press, I would welcome that with open arms. If someone wants to represent me or represent us as a group or whatever this comes to, that would be amazing. And as I said, if you like and share and comment on this video, that helps me a lot. So yes, I also know that some people have been speculating that this subpoena might be fake, that it's not coming from Google. Paris Hilton did a video about it. I don't think it's fake because I've been looking at every possibility of this not being real. The email address is legit. It's coming from the same legal department in Google as they always send legal papers from, or legal documents or emails from. And as Perez Hilton pointed out in his video, that Google should be fighting this on behalf of his customers. That's not the case because Google can't afford that. I mean, can you imagine everyone who's getting divorced and want to see their their spouses or ex-spouses email accounts? They probably get hundreds of this a day. So no, I don't think that's realistic. I mean, if it wasn't real, I would totally welcome that. Obviously, this is just another little bit of a headache, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't like these things, and it's stressful for me, and it's stressful for Magnus and Oscar. Oscar was just throwing up earlier, and I was like, oh, he feels my stress. Anyways, you guys, you are amazing, and I'm so grateful for all of your support. I wouldn't be able to do any of this without you, not even the tips you're sending me, but all your sweet messages of support that you've been sending me throughout this entire process is just so, so valuable to me. I don't know how to put it into words. So yes, thanks again for supporting my channel. And if you haven't subscribed, please do that and hit the notification bell. And please watch my podcast that I will be publishing late tonight. Thank you guys, and have a wonderful weekend, and be nice to each other. Bye.